Now, hi, welcome to Mamarama. All right, girls, now disappear. Boom, they're gone. I don't know what's going on with the lighting. Something's not right. I wish I didn't throw away the manual that went with my camera. Yeah, what? I'm like super bright. Maybe I just need to be further away. That was my problem actually in the beginning. When I first started taping the shows. I had my face like all in the camera, like, because I just couldn't tell what the, I don't know what the proportions would be like. And then when I watched it on television, I realized why like other talking heads on television tend to be a little pulled back because, you know, I'm looking at a screen that's like this big. And so then once it's big, it's like completely ridiculous. But then again, I got my filming technique and style from Captain Zodiac. So yes, I don't have the candles on the side of me, but although I did do a lost episode where I had the candles and a little cap on in homage to Captain Zodiac, but I trashed that episode. I might still have it on a tape, and then I guess it'll make it to the bloopers and outtakes for the box set. I don't know. Yeah, well, that's not happening anytime soon. But what I do hope to do, and perhaps if I just say it on air and I put it out there, I'll be forced to actually do it, is to create video podcasts. I mean, you know, how simple would that be? I finally like came into the correct century and put things on DVD instead of VHS, so that was sort of a step forward. And now I need to like, you know, the camera's crooked. Is that bothering? Is that bothering anyone? Could you please, you know, email me and let me know. And please, you know, don't forget to email me. It's really important. mamarama@oppermail.com. It's important because I like to get feedback, and I love to get questions from my audience. And so today's show is going to be a series of questions. Now, I guess it would make more sense if I was like, if I was doing a live show and I could pick up phone calls and you could hear the whatever. Obviously that's not going to happen. That's never going to happen. What difference does that make? Oh, because then I'm sort of answering them on the fly, you know, and not researching the answers. But the truth is, I didn't really research the answer, so I am kind of answering on the fly. Not that you care. I mean, what? Like you're testing my knowledge, I don't know. I can't think straight. I'm trying to think that, like, you know, I used to have this disclaimer that said very clearly that I am not a doctor, a nurse, a midwife, a health practitioner. You know, I'm just kind of like, you know, whatever. You take whatever I say with many grains of salt. But in fact, I am kind of working on some sort of accreditation. So, you know, so watch out for whatever that's worth. I'll have some sort of like experience behind me in which to deliver these gems of wisdom apart from my own experience and my own reading and stuff, because I do like to read about this stuff and I do sort of store away a lot of knowledge. So with that, the first question that came to me, which I was fascinated by, because actually a couple of people asked me this around the same time, the question was, can you get pregnant while you're breastfeeding? Good question. There are a lot of people who really believe that it is not possible to get pregnant while you are still nursing. And I'm here to dispel that myth. Okay, well, here's the truth of the matter. It's sort of both true and not true that you can and you cannot, depending on how much you're nursing. That's sort of where the answer lies. Because if you're talking about a young baby, like 6 months and below, and you're nursing exclusively, you're not supplementing with any formula, you are nursing consistently. You're doing it throughout the day and throughout the night. That's the key thing. The other part is that your child is not receiving any other nourishment from a different source. Obviously, after they're 6 months old, you start feeding them, you start introducing foods little by little, so they're not nursing exclusively. So generally speaking, when a child is nursing exclusively, that means that he is nursing a lot, okay? And with that comes a suppression of ovulation. It's not unheard of for that to occur during that time period, but generally speaking, if you're nursing frequently for a young child, you probably will not ovulate, therefore you will not get pregnant. The tricky part comes, I think, when, like, in this sort of transitionary period where you start introducing a little bit of food and the nursing demand goes down slightly. You may not even be aware of it. I mean, your child may be maybe still nursing frequently throughout the night, and you know, you think that you're nursing like around the clock, but in fact your body registers that sort of dip in production, and that sort of triggers the hormones to get menstruation back into a cycle. However, there are many cases of women who are nursing and who never get their periods. It just doesn't come back until they actually stop nursing. It's unlikely, but it is heard of, and you know, you have to sort of take that into account. You could be one of those people, especially if you had sort of an erratic cycle before you got pregnant. So, in fact, nursing will, it does all of those things. It suppresses ovulation, therefore it works as a birth control with, I just heard, okay, I'm going to ignore that, with the sort of caveat that you must be nursing quite a lot and through the night. And then as your nursing starts to decrease, yeah, okay, I've already said that. The other thing that I should point out is that you don't necessarily know when your first ovulation occurs. So I know of many women who ended up pregnant before they actually got their first period after giving birth, and we're very surprised because you know, that could happen like in that first year, and that's how you kind of end up with what people like to call Irish twins. Isn't that nice? But yeah, you know, I think that's like getting pregnant within your first year. Or maybe the definition of Irish twins is actually having that second baby in your first year, which really doesn't leave you very much room in there, but it can happen.